Well, good evening, everybody, here on oneBURGH and oneBURGH.com. I'm Brian Carruthers. To my left or my right is my partner, my friend, my co-host, Ed True. Good evening, Ed.
What's going on, Brian? Good to be here on a Monday night.
We normally don't do Monday night, but it just feels like breaks the monotony. Wheel of Fortune's over, Jeopardy's over, and now a little bit of oneBURGH action.
Right. I mean, this is great programming across Facebook and YouTube here tonight, having us on, and we have a great subject here tonight to talk about.
Yeah, I've lost track of time. I feel like in Pittsburgh, everything moves so fast, right? Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson, what's coming, what's going. And there was a fascinating story that happened in Butler County just a week or so ago about a woman by the name of Ann Galante who was attacked by a bear.
Wow. Yes. Very, very, very.
Were you up
crazy.
on this story?
I was. I know we featured it on oneBURGH, and we had some information out there based on that. And what an incredible story.
Yeah. So, and we'll let her tell it. Of course, she's with us tonight. But the way it came together was Leanne is very popular, very well liked, beloved. And I mean, there was people keeping vigil, waiting to find out good news for Leanne. So we'll find out about the bear. And how did this interview happen? She sent us an email here on oneBURGH, and she said she slid into our DMs and she said, "Hey, I'm the bear attack lady."
She slid right in for us to get an exclusive one-on-one. David Johnson from WPXI, eat your heart out.
Well, this is what I want to, and we're going to get to it. But Leanne's face, and everyone's going to be surprised when she comes on. She's vibrant, she's youthful, she's put together. The picture that you saw from the hospital room, it was a shocker, right? I mean, she was like fresh out attack, and I'm assumed straight out of surgery.
Yeah, absolutely.
And David Johnson was there. I think Peggy drove her home.
But here we are with the exclusive one-on-one.
Let's do it. Well, let's welcome her in. Ann Galante, all the way from beautiful Butler County. Good evening, Ann. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Well, and who's the puppy? This is the famous dog, right?
He is. He's the one that I let out to go to the bathroom before bed, and ran off the deck and started barking like he always does. And little do we know, there's a bear and her cubs.
You took the question right out of my mouth. The dog goes out to go to the bathroom. The first question is, have you ever had bear in your backyard before?
Well, we've been here 31 years, and we always have bird feeders, and a few years, oh, that was a long time ago, one knocked over our bird feeder. But then like last month there was a report that the neighbors that there was a bear and 3 cubs in our neighborhood.
Okay.
And then, weeks go on and you're like, well, I just thought they moved on. I don't know.
Sure. They're not hanging out, right?
Right.
And so puppy goes out, you go out to
Mhm.
get puppy. And so take us through it. You have a sliding door or something, you walk out, and do you see these bears, or is it on you so fast before you even know?
Well, what happened was I was home by myself. My husband and my son weren't home. So I was upstairs getting ready for bed. I was laying in my bed on my phone like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And Smokey had to go outside. And so I came downstairs. I opened our back door. We don't have a sliding glass door. We just have a door with a screen door.
Okay.
And we have a deck off the door, and we have a little 3-foot green fence around the deck that keeps him in the yard, and he can go off the deck and whatnot. And we always go outside with him, whether it's day or night.
And Smokey is small. By the way, the trail marshal just made a comment. Smokey does look like a little bear. Little bear
He
cub.
does. Does he?
does.
He
Yeah,
looks
he's
like a little
adorable.
cub.
He's cute.
Yes.
He's cute.
So
He's
you go
adorable.
out, you open the door to check on Smokey, and what happens?
Well, I walked out with him, and he goes out on the deck, and I'm standing on the deck, and he goes down the stairs and he starts barking.
Yeah.
And I hear this awful commotion at the bird feeders, and our light doesn't reach, to the side of the house where the bird feeders are. So I kind of crane my neck, and he's at the fence, the little fence in the grass. I kind of crane my neck around to see, and the neighbor's tree, I see the silhouette of three bear cubs in the tree. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, Smokey, get in here.
Yeah.
And
Right.
all
Mom,
this,
you're literally your mama bear instincts kicked in. Get your
well, you
dog.
know what? Isn't that funny? I really think really think so. And like all of a sudden, like mommy bear just comes right over that 3 foot fence, and she starts after Smokey. So he goes around to the other set of steps. So I go to get him. And I thought, well, she'll never come on the deck. And all of a sudden, from behind, she knocked me down off the step of the deck to the cement slab we have at the bottom
Yeah.
step. And I didn't have time to react or anything. My face just smushed, right? And you should have just heard it. I mean, smushed on that cement slab. So I get, I
So
get
wait,
back
even
up.
before the bear's on you, you've fallen off your deck and you've taken a header onto a cement slab
Right,
before the
right.
bear is even on you.
Right. She was right there. She knocked me down. She knocked me
Wow.
down.
Okay.
Yeah, she knocked me from behind, which, and so then I believe it was right after that, she grabbed onto the back of my head, right at, the back of my head here, and she just starts pulling. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she just bit, and starts pulling. And I thought she was going to scalp me, which, she almost did.
Oh, wow.
And then she ended up like,
And can you move at this point, Leanne? Is the bear so heavy that you aren't able to get away from it at this point as it's trying to scalp you?
well, yeah, I mean, it was very heavy, it was very powerful, very mad. I mean, she
Yeah.
just seemed, so then she goes after
That's the
Smokey.
same way that Ed's wife describes him when he gets home from work.
Very heavy, very mad, very powerful. And so then
Very true.
uh he takes after the bear, or she takes after Smokey again, and she has him cornered at our gate that goes to our driveway, from our deck.
Yeah.
And I'm like screaming, Smokey, no. It was just like I could not see him getting eaten by this bear. It was terrifying. So
Wow.
then she comes after me again, and she knocked me down.
Mm.
She got on top of me,
Again,
and
knocks you down again.
right. And then she bit my upper arm, my upper left arm.
This bear is clearing house. It took you down, looked for Smokey, you got back up. It's clearing house right now. It's
Right.
angry.
Totally angry. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
To-
How,
oh,
Leanne,
totally.
how big was this bear?
Well, I learned that it was probably like 230. 230.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Probably about that.
it's a human man, right? That's like a big guy to be like, right? I mean,
Yeah.
plus I'm sure it's built in a way that doesn't really make it easy to. Wow. So you got a 230-pound bear. Now he's back for more and takes you
Yeah.
down again, and it goes
Right.
after your arm.
Right. She bit my arm, and like she's on top of me. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, someone please help me, someone help me. And of course, the neighbors are in their house, probably the TV's on or whatever.
Thinking you're
And
drinking,
yeah, yeah, right.
but
Not
no
thinking a
one
bear's
comes to
attacking
rescue
you.
you at all. There's nobody.
Right.
No, no. And that was an awful feeling. That was
Yeah.
awful to be laying there screaming and knowing no one's gonna hear you. That
Wow.
was, and then like before she knocked me down, I was thinking, I can't believe I'm getting attacked by a bear. It was just like, I can't believe this is happening. And
Sure.
it was all so fast, and I really didn't have time to react, and I didn't know what to do. Um
How much
I
blood was there? Are you covered in
Oh
blood at this
geez.
moment?
Yeah. Oh, it was just dripping off me, just dripping. And
Wow.
then at some point she had put her paw on Smokey, and this was before she knocked me down again. And I started screaming again, and he kind of went under her. Like she put her paw on his back, and he kind of went under her. So I think, him being little, he kind of went under her. And then, well, anyway, when she was on top of me and I'm screaming, I'm like, well, this is, you know, hopeless. And then all of a
Right.
sudden
Wow.
I don't know whether she thought maybe Smokey ran off the deck into the backyard, because she
Okay.
like ran down the steps and then hopped over the little wire fence we had. And all of a sudden, I see her trying to claw her way up the back of our deck. Okay. And we
Who
have this,
the bear
the bear. Yeah, the
coming
bear.
back for more now?
She was coming back for more, and she was not happy. So, like, we have this built-in bench at the back of our deck, okay?
Yeah.
And
I'd love to come out and see it, but I don't want to have a barbecue at your house.
I know, I know, right? And
Summer's
well,
canceled.
we have nice picnics. It's a nice backyard.
Uh,
And
okay.
yeah, so I see her trying like both claws like this on the deck, and her face coming underneath that bench. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's come back for more. So in the meantime, I get up, and I'm 4 feet from my back door. I never got in the grass. So I get up, and Smokey, thank goodness, is right at the back door. And I open, you know how you turn around and you think someone's coming behind you? I was like, I hope I have enough time to get in this door.
Yeah.
So I open the door, he runs in, I go in, I slam the other door, and I crawl into my kitchen, and we still have a landline. So thank goodness, because it's right beside the refrigerator. So I got the landline, and I called 911. And I'm like, I just got attacked by a bear. But in the
Wow.
meantime, blood is gushing like puddles.
This is a crime scene in your house. Blood
It,
everywhere. You're
yeah,
destroyed.
Wow.
Hey, did you
yeah.
think your head was ripped off? I mean, the back, you said it was
I
pulling
didn't want
you.
to. Yeah, I didn't want to know. I did not want to know what was going on back there. Like the police officer, actually, he was in kind of like our neighborhood, like, so he got there right away, thank goodness. And it's funny because, well, I was still on with 911 until the police officer came. And 911's like, if you have a towel that you could press, to stop the bleeding. And
Of
I'm like,
course.
I am not touching that back there. I don't want to know what's going on. So the
Wow.
police officer comes, and he's like, do you have a towel? And
I would have thought
I'm
that you
like,
told me you had a tourniquet yourself, that you needed a belt to do, not obviously
oh,
not around your neck, but from the
no.
bruises, I would have thought you had to do something to stop that blood.
Right, but I didn't. I didn't want to know. And like the police officer's like, oh, do you have a towel? And I said, in the kitchen, because I had to crawl to the front door to let the police officer in, because I'm like, don't come to the back door,
Right.
and our front door was, locked and whatever. So he went into the
Wow.
kitchen and he got towels off my dishwasher. And I was like, those are my good towels.
Yeah.
It's like he must be like, okay, lady, you
Mhm.
can't be hurt that bad. It was
Yeah,
like, I
wow,
don't know
that's
what I
funny.
was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking.
So you go to the hospital, right? The ambulance comes. The first time that I think all of Pittsburgh saw you, maybe even when Ed and I started talking about it, was you hear this report on Channel 11 and KDKA, there's a bear attack. How does this leak out, Leanne? On your way to the hospital, did you call Channel 11, or how do they find these things out?
No, no. I have no idea. Maybe the scanner or something, but at
Yeah.
first they took me to Butler Hospital, and they put like a couple staples in the back of my head, and then they sent me down to Allegheny General, AGH, which so in the meantime, like, I think maybe that evening there was a news uh truck at our house, like, kind of in front. And then the next
Oh my
morning, like
God.
they're in front of our house, they're in front of the neighbor's house. And my son, he's like calling me, he's like, Mom, I'm not going to leave the house because he doesn't want to be, on TV or
Yeah,
whatever. And
you're under attack, and it's unfair.
well, it,
Well, I
what are
guess
you
you
gonna
know what a real attack would be. So I guess David Johnson with a camera is not necessarily an attack, but it's an invasion of privacy, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm like, wouldn't you think I'd be in the hospital? Like, why in front of my house?
Yeah.
So
Good point.
I had my neighbor give them, or my sister called or something and said that I was done at AGH. And then they asked to come talk to me down there. In the meantime, I had spent the entire night getting staples in the back of my head. I stitched my lip and back behind my ear because she started like she was pulling so hard it started to like pull my like I have a big cut behind my ear,
Oh
like.
wow. Wow.
And then my arm, they put a few stitches in some of the deeper puncture wounds, but then some of them they leave open because of infection
Hmm.
and stuff.
Wow.
So in the hospital, I was pretty much just fresh off of, they were done with everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leanne, incredible story, and God bless you, for getting through that.
Appreciate
Well, what a
it.
crazy, crazy situation. And those of us that have dogs that let dogs out, I had a dog for 11 years. Let it out in my backyard, and the dogs are part of your family. They're your kid, and you protect them at all
Mhm,
costs. So
mhm.
totally get it. Was there any other thinking around, like, did this bear think, because your dog that you just had on does look like a baby cub? Do you think the bear might have mistakenly thought that the dog was one of her cubs and was coming after you because the dog was near you?
Well, that's kind of like what I thought because like she could have eaten him in one bite.
Right.
And when she had him cornered at the back gate, she really didn't do anything to him. So I don't know whether she was trying to figure out what he was,
Mm.
and like you said, he does look like a baby bear cub. And I don't know. That is a good question, though.
It does look
I
like a
don't,
bear. It does look like a little cub when you
You
had him
just
up there.
just wonder, because anytime you read anything on bears, and my family, we go to the Smoky Mountains a lot. You see a lot of wild bears down there. You always stop what you're doing, but you stay away. You never get near it. But one of the things I always read is how protective they are, especially
yeah.
if they're young. So you
Hmm.
often wonder that. Did the game commission or anything ever come to your house? Did they go after this bear, or try to
Well,
contain it? Or
what happened was that night, like when I was getting into the ambulance, there were so many emergency vehicles there. My husband said there was a fire truck. It was like, and then when I was getting in the ambulance, I saw a police officer with a gun, like a shotgun or something, I guess, something like that. And I heard them saying, tell all the neighbors to stay in the house.
Mhm.
So what happened was
Well, you
she
Galantes know how to party.
oh, we do it right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened was like she left the neighbor's tree, which these cubs were not cubs. They were huge. These cubs. They weren't little babies. They were like yearlings, I guess. And they were getting ready to leave their mom anyway. Um and and I think, with the early spring and how nice it got, then they woke up and whatever, they were hangry.
Right.
And so they moved to the tree and the other neighbors, and that's when the game commission found the mummy and the three cubs.
oh, so they
Yeah.
Now they
did. The game commission did find them.
Yeah, they were in the neighbor's tree, the other neighbors right
So
behind us.
th-
And
what
yeah.
did they do? Did they capture him, or?
Well, mommy was getting aggressive. They were shining the light into the tree, that she was in. So they did have to shoot mommy. And then the baby cubs, they tranquilized and then released them up around Warren, PA. Yeah. And when they were running out of those, those big metal tubes they put bears in, um, yeah, they were big. They were about almost
They
100
look
pounds, I
big. They
think.
look very
Yeah.
big. Now, there was a
Yeah.
lot of talk, Lee, at least definitely on oneBURGH, because we talked about this a lot and had different articles and videos and whatnot. And there's animal lovers who feel like that mother was just doing what mother bears do, right? Do you have a take on that, or is that? I mean, you obviously didn't want it on top of you either, and you're a mama bear for that dog as well. Did you have a take on that? Are you an animal lover? Do you have
Oh,
an opinion on that they took down the
oh,
mom?
yeah, I'm an animal lover, and I do feel bad for the mummy bear. She was just doing her job, and she was being a good mom. It was just an unfortunate circumstance, I think, and like my husband said, when a dog attacks a person, they put the dog down,
Right.
and then they did say, like, sometimes, I don't know if this is true, I'm not an expert in bears, but maybe once they get that little taste of aggressiveness,
Oh, that
and
blood, right? That taste of blood, and it's on.
yeah, I don't know. And then I did hear, like, too, if they try to relocate them, that they will try to come back to their territory, you know.
Okay.
And it's like, we're a neighborhood, we're a mile outside of Butler.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of little kids in our neighborhood.
Sure.
A lot of people with dogs and pets and stuff. So, I do feel bad, but you know, they do have a bear hunting season and things like that. So,
You have to think about people first, and I know that's an
Right.
unpopular opinion in the animal community, but you're right. I mean, you're in a residential neighborhood. Bird feeders be damned. Open
yeah.
grills be damned. I'm sorry, we have to protect people first. We can't be on
Yeah.
the you look at what you went through. We can't have 5 more people and be on the lookout for a
Oh,
bear that wants more blood.
yeah, right. She was not happy and she
Yeah,
wasn't having it. Yeah,
yeah.
and it's like, well, I always heard, don't get between your mommy and her cubs. Well, I wasn't between them,
That's
and
a technicality, right? Don't get near. Well, you're living
that
proof,
is
right? It's a good lesson. I've
that
even
is
told my son who's 12, like, it's not between. Don't even get near them if you can. I mean, there's not
yeah.
like a rule book where the bear's like, well, as soon as they get within 1 foot, I'll grab her. They went for it.
Yeah, yeah. We were, several feet away, and she came at us, which, she was protecting her babies and whatever, but yeah, I think, like, I always thought black bears were more afraid of us
Right.
than we are of them, Now, and I'm not a big, like, hiker. It'd be nice, but I'm not. And I think if I did that, and I told my niece, and they go hiking and stuff, and I'm like, well, make sure you have bear bells, bear
Right. Bear
spray, and one of
spray.
those air horns,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
it's, you really think again.
Right.
And then people were saying, well, there's always those haters, oh, she should be more aware of her surroundings and should never let her dog out. And
Right.
I'm never aware of my surroundings. I mean,
Who is? It's so unfair, and it's
Well,
2020 vision to look at this story and go, "Well, it's Leanne's
well,
fault. A bear died." It's
yeah.
not. I mean, this is just it's a sad situation for everybody. And but speaking of you, back the bear is now gone into bear heaven. How do you feel right now? Where are you at in your recovery?
Well, you know what? I'm not doing too bad.
Yeah,
A week after I got out of the hospital, I had to go back in to AGH, um, because my whole upper jaw was crushed, and my nose and my sinuses. So they have to go in through the inside of your upper lip to get, to those bones and to your sinuses. So they had to cut all around there.
mm,
And so I have, like, one plate here and two plates in here. Like, my eye sockets were okay. It was just everything else in there.
Oh man.
So I'm still swollen from that. And then did have a little in the inside of my cheek on the inside. I had a little infection and I had to go to the AGH, the emergency room on Saturday, and they had to put a drain in, and I
Oh
went back
my.
down today and got it out. So the swelling is definitely going down here. My face
Okay.
is,
Any
then I have,
PTSD? Do you see the Berenstain Bears on TV or anything that happens on television? You go, oh no, a bear.
well, so far, no. And, I don't know. I kind of like, I have a sense of humor, and, I think that helps. I mean, um, I'm not easily offended by, someone that would talk about it or whatever.
Sure, sure.
Um, and Pete, well, as far as dreams and stuff go, not yet, but,
Oh, good. Let's hope not.
there for a while, all that was running through my head was bear, 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 bear,
Right.
rethinking it and all that stuff.
Because
But
I had this Halloween costume here.
yeah, my bear didn't look
Ah,
like that.
Leanne.
Yeah, my bear did not look like that.
If
Yeah.
only
Yeah,
the bear did
wasn't
look
that
like that.
friendly, huh? Did not look
No,
that
was
friendly.
not that friendly.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah,
I could
ah.
probably fight that bear.
You definitely could, Leanne. Trust me, you definitely could.
Yeah.
You look great though, Leanne. You really do. You look great. And I remember we saw the pictures of you in the hospital bed compared to that to what we're looking at right now. Your
Yeah.
recovery looks to be coming right along. So that's great news.
Thanks. Yeah. The one thing getting me through is my husband's side is from Italian, and then my son and I are going to Italy with the cousins. Actually 2 weeks from today. So as far as I know, everything's still a go.
Good.
However, I'm on a liquid diet. I'm on a no chew diet because of the plates and stuff.
Mm.
So,
All
I'm
that spaghetti, Leanne. All the pasta.
yeah, I said, thank goodness Italy isn't known for their food, right?
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Exactly.
Being sarcastic.
Of
Right.
course.
Right.
So I'll
Yeah.
find something to eat, gelato and wine and
Well, there
limoncello. Like
plenty of
this.
wine, plenty of gelato.
Yeah,
Well, Leanne
yeah.
Galante, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. We're so glad that you're feeling better, that you survived, that
Yep.
Smokey is still around, and be careful out there in Butler County. A lot of crazy stuff is happening.
We have a lot of crazies here. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And
It's
good
very
luck.
nice
And
of you.
truthfully, Leanne, we except for a year in review, we hope we never have you on again.
I know, right? Me too. I mean, what are the odds? Who
That's
knows?
right. What a
I don't
whirlwind. Well,
I don't
thank
know,
Yeah.
Leanne. You carried yourself very well here on the show. I think Brian and I should have a discussion about you being a third host on oneBURGH with us, just to talk about all Pittsburgh news stuff. You did
Ooh,
a great
wouldn't that
job.
be fun?
you.
That would be so much
That
fun.
would be great. And
Yeah.
what about everyone's got merch now. Have you talked to is there anybody who's like, we got to get this Bear Lady merchandise going?
I really should get merch. I don't know to go about that, but I think I loved that meme you guys did. I'm not 100% sure what it meant, but like me in the hospital bed, that was a hoot.
Oh, is that
That
when we
was a
said
hoot.
that the Steelers signed you?
Yeah, yeah. That's a hoot. That
Yeah.
was hysterical.
Oh, good, good. Well, we're glad to bring some joy. We're glad you have a great sense of humor. I think that is part of the recovery, right? That
Yeah.
you not that you're
Yeah.
laughing at the situation, but now that you can look back on it, and I mean, people were putting up comments and using play on words like barely and all that different stuff. I'm sure you've heard it all now.
Oh
But
yeah,
to have a
yeah.
little bit of sense of humor, I think,
Yeah.
does help with that healing process.
It really does. And the way I think of it, this I can get over. There's people out there that have things they can't get over. So, I can get over this,
Yep.
you know?
And Ed and I are so wimpy. If this happened to us, we would still be in traction right now. I'd let the blood pour out just for people to feel bad about me.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a
Leanne,
lot of
thank you so
fun.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
Leanne.
you. I
It's
really
great to see
appreciate it.
you. Thank you so
You
much. And there
too.
she
Take
goes,
care.
Ed. You
Thanks.
too.
Thanks for being
Leanne
on.
Galante, everybody, the bear attack lady. What a sweet person to have on. And I what's amazing is the night and day difference. And everyone looks weird coming out of surgery and looks, I mean, the bear attack, of course, but then the
Right.
surgery. But someone had linked her Facebook page to something on oneBURGH, and when I went and looked at it, I was like, this is a completely different person.
Yeah, I was shocked when we came on before the start of this. We're in the back room there kind of talking before we come on the air. And I wasn't sure. I was looking at who the bear attack lady was from that picture. She looks nothing like that now. And that's good news for her, man. She's a great lady, man. I was being serious. We should talk to her about coming on one of our shows and talk. She carried herself very well, very well.
Only if it would be like, how many, as far as the story goes, how many bear attacks do you give this? And she'd be like, it's an interesting story, but I only give it 2 out of 5.
Exactly. 2 claws out of 5 claws.
And I feel bad. I feel like this bear head bit had so much potential, but she just has a good sense of humor. I was hoping that she would scream and run off camera and would never hear her again, but she's just too fun. She's too great.
I think you need to put that on when you sign off here in a few minutes.
I felt like Lee Corso. I was ready to make a pick. I'll be like,
you're like, hey, here's the head. We like the Bears this week. The Bears will win.
Right. Well, thank you. And thank you, everybody here on oneBURGH, for commenting tonight. Thanks for sharing the video. We'll have some clips up if you missed it or if you're just joining us now. And again, thanks to Ann Galante. As we say, the bear attack lady.
The bear attack lady.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think, I think if she had another chance at the bear, this might be something we need to set up. I like the chances. I think she gets healthy. She's motivated. I think she takes the bear down.
Well, Mike Tyson's coming up with that big fight here soon, right? Mike Tyson, his big comeback against Conor McGregor.
Oh, yeah. No, not Conor.
Not Conor McGregor?
No, not Conor McGregor. Like Josh Paul or John Paul or something like that.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, not Colin McGregor. Hold on. We'll get it before we sign off.
James Paul? No, something Paul. What were you going to say? You think Leanne should open for that?
Jake Paul. No, I was just going to say you have this Mike Tyson versus, big comeback. Why not have like another, the bear versus Leanne?
Well, I was going to mention to Leanne, there is the famous Mike Tyson quote that everyone has a plan until you're punched in the face. That's kind of this situation, just like with a lot of these things that just are fluky and happen like at a split second. Everyone thinks I can grab my kid. Everyone thinks I can make it across the street. If a bear came in, if I'm up on a ladder, if I start falling, I'm going to do a backflip and I'm going to land like a ninja. I don't think that's true. I think she's living proof that it just happens so fast that it's over before you know it. And I think that's the truest part.
Yeah. And everybody's had their dogs out there. You hear coyotes sometimes in some of these residential neighborhoods and even eagles up, real big eagles can kind of swoop down. Right. Little dogs, little tiny dogs, Yorkies, that type of thing. So, everybody wants to protect their dogs, man, just like their kid. And, God bless her, man. But I think there is something there. Her dog looks like a baby cub. So I bet that bear thought it was maybe a bear cub, and Leanne might have been trying to take the bear or the bear cub, and that's why the bear had the instincts. The mama bear, man, went into. I
did love where it was Channel 11. We are first. The bear attack woman is home safe. We are there to greet her. It's like, really? We can't just let her come home through the garage. Come on.
Right.
Come on, right. Fedco's in her shower.
Skylights.
Yeah, skylight. The skylight. Channel 11 choppers flying overhead. All right, Ed, thank you. Thank you, everybody here on oneBURGH. We appreciate you, and we will talk to you soon. And Ed, we'll be back Wednesday, right, for a little sports chat.
Yeah, we got Joe from Draft 412 coming on to preview the big Stage AE on draft night. I'll be part of that panel. You'll be there as well. We'll be doing a oneBURGH live exclusive event from Stage AE that night. So we're gonna have Joe on Wednesday to preview that event and also talk a little bit about the draft and the Steelers and stuff like that.
All right. Thanks, everybody, and have a great night here on oneBURGH.